Let's cross to our correspondent in Brussels, Jack Parrock, joins us on Skype. Hi, Jack. For starters,
hello, how are you doing?
There's a possibility that the Greek Parliament could still reject this. Now, do you sense that Brussels is confident or cautious?
Gunther, Brussels is very, very cautious and will always consistently be with this Greek government. The issue of trust has been regularly brought up as something that the Eurozone partners find difficult to have in the Syriza government since the 6 months of negotiations began. But they have come to a deal here today. There was talk that potentially at 6 a.m. our time, which is the same as South Africa time at the moment, that there was the French, the German and the Greek leaders both were talking about a Grexit. Now, what happens? This deal needs to go through the parliament in Greece. The Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras needs to persuade his far-left factions in his party to vote it through, but it'll also be relying on some of the conservative members of the Greek parliament to get this deal through the parliament.
Now, is there any indication of a plan B just in case Athens says no?
Well, a plan B would be very difficult for them to put together after this deal. The Greek government has accepted many of the austerity measures that it certainly did not want to. It has basically backtracked on many of its election promises under real arm twisting from the Eurozone partners. The Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras, one senior official who was in the meeting, said that he looked like a beaten dog. They said, another one said he'd been crucified in these discussions. He's really had a hard time by the looks of things, and trying to sell it to the Greek people is going to be difficult. But this is the way forward for them at the moment. There's negotiations on a bridging loan to try and get the Greek government to be able to repay the European Central Bank so that they could increase liquidity and get the Greek banks open again.
The Spanish and Italians are sure to have watched this with very keen eyes. So I'm wondering whether you get any sense there at the Parliament in Europe, whether or not these countries are keeping an eye on it and what their sense is of negotiations. Have they learned something?
Indeed. So the Spanish and Italians have left-wing factions rising in their countries, anti-austerity factions. The Spanish particularly have an election in November, the Podemos party, that are not the same party as Syriza, but kind of going down the same lines. So, and many people have said that this is Germany stamping its foot down against these parties, reasserting their authority within the Eurozone. They will not accept any party to kind of stand up financially against them. Having said this, the Greeks themselves owe Germany a lot of money. They're their biggest creditor, and the Greek economy has not been hitting the targets, especially over the last 6 months, that the Eurozone wanted. They're still in need of this bailout money. So it certainly sends a message to those countries that potentially any kind of uprising against and some anti-austerity factions that may not manage what they want to when they come here to Brussels to renegotiate their debt deals.
It's our correspondent in Brussels, Jack Parrock. And as you heard, it ain't over yet. A high-level delegation